Alright guys, welcome back to another chapter in the Bible. We are on to a new chapter. We are in 1 Samuel chapter 1, and the header reads, Elkanah and his family. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Now I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know, I was going to get into the thick of it when it comes to a specific prelude and a little bit more background, but I'm here at the school. I have a board meeting tonight, and then I have the opportunity, I'm blessed to have the opportunity to go watch our young ladies play some softball. So I'm going to catch that once I'm done here. So I don't have some of the background stuff in my study Bible. So I'm going to go ahead and start with 1 Samuel chapter 1, and then I'll probably get into a little bit of the prelude tomorrow before chapter 2 to make sure that we're all on the same page. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. Elkanah and his family, chapter 1 in 1 Samuel. There was a man named Elkanah who lived in Ramah in the region of Zuph, in the hill country of Ephraim. He was the son of Jeroham, 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 son of Elihu, son of Tohu, son of Zuph of Ephraim. Elkanah had two wives, Hannah and Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Hannah did not. Each year Elkanah would travel to Shiloh to worship and sacrifice to the Lord of Heaven's armies at the tabernacle. The priests of the Lord at that time were the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas. On the days Elkanah presented his sacrifice, he would give portions of the meat to Peninnah and each of her children. And though he loved Hannah, he would give her only one choice portion, because the Lord had given her no children. So Peninnah would taunt Hannah and make fun of her because the Lord had kept her from having children. Year after year it was the same. Peninnah would taunt Hannah as they went to the tabernacle. Each time, Hannah would be reduced to tears and would not even eat. "Why are you crying, Hannah?" Elkanah would ask. "Why are you eating? Why be downhearted just because you have no children? You have me. Isn't that better than having 10 sons? Once after a sacrificial meal at Shiloh, Hannah got up and went to pray. Eli, the priest, was sitting at his customary place beside the entrance of the tabernacle. Hannah was in deep anguish, crying bitterly as she prayed to the Lord. And she made this vow, "O Lord of heaven's armies, if you will look upon my sorrow and answer my prayer and give me a son, then I will give him back to you. He will be yours for his entire lifetime, and as a sign that he has been dedicated to the Lord. And as a sign that he has been dedicated to the Lord, his hair will never be cut." As she was praying to the Lord, Eli watched her, seeing her lips moving, but hearing no sound. He thought she had been drinking. "Must you come here drunk?" he demanded. "Throw away your wine." "Oh no, sir," she replied. "I haven't been drinking wine or anything stronger. But I am very discouraged, and I was pouring out my heart to the Lord. Don't think I am a wicked woman, for I have been praying out of great anguish and sorrow." "In that case," Eli said, "go in peace. May the God of Israel grant the request you have asked of him." "Oh, thank you, sir," she exclaimed. Then she went back and began to eat again, and she was no longer sad. The entire family got up early the next morning and went to worship the Lord once more. Then they returned home to Ramah. When Elkanah slept with Hannah, the Lord remembered her plea, and in due time she gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, for she said, "I asked the Lord for him." The next year Elkanah and his family went on their annual trip to offer a sacrifice to the Lord and to keep his vow. But Hannah did not go. She told her husband, "Wait until the boy is weaned. Then I will take him to the tabernacle and leave him there with the Lord permanently." "Whatever you think is best," Elkanah agreed. Stay here for now, and may the Lord help you keep your promise." So she stayed home and nursed the boy until he was weaned. When the child was weaned, Hannah took him to the tabernacle in Shiloh. They brought along a 3-year-old bull for the sacrifice in a basket, of flour and some wine. After sacrificing the bull, they brought the boy to Eli. "Sir, do you remember me?" Hannah asked. "I am the very woman who stood here several years ago praying to the Lord. I asked the Lord to give me this boy, and he has granted my request. Now I am giving him to the Lord, and he will belong to the Lord his whole life." And they worshiped the Lord there. And that's the end of chapter 1, guys. It's the end of chapter 1 of 1 Samuel. So I'm not going to lie. My absolute favorite part about that is something that personally I could see as, I don't want to say a contradiction, but in not too many chapters ago that we were reading, there was a man in, what was it, it wasn't Deuteronomy, it wasn't Exodus either. It was in Joshua. It might not have been Joshua, but he had made a plea to God. Say, hey, if you but give me victory in this moment, or make this change in outcome for me, I will give as a burnt offering anything that you require. Anything that you ask of me will be yours. And because of the deal that he made with God, he was welcomed home by his child. And knowing that that was what he was presented with, that's what he sacrificed at the altar to God. And it was a warning saying, be careful what you ask of me, because I will ask of something in return, especially when you make that vow to me. And while this seems to be something similar, because she gave him right back, said, God, please give me this son. If you do, I'll give him right back. And while I think that had she not given him back, that the fallout would have been something, terrible or severe. So some could argue that the giving away of your son a year or so after being weaned from his mother, that is a fate that is harsh. Understanding that, there's no gray with God. It's very black and white. But that is something that she honored God in that. And so I do think it's interesting that when we have one outcome, and really how it reads, and it might just be my heart that reads it that way. It could be a rough outlook when it comes to her having to submit her son back to God. Not that that's a bad outcome, but she does lose her son in an earthly sense. But the burnt offering that the previous book in the Bibles had about, say, hey, I'm willing to make a deal with God, and I will submit. What he had to submit was probably a price that he didn't anticipate paying. Now, this was obviously ironed out, and she was ready to submit her son back to God if that's something she received. But it's very interesting how both, I feel like, are in the same light. This just felt like it read different, and maybe that's just my heart, but maybe there is some reflection in this that, that this was looked at as a little bit more humbling, or a little bit more, I don't want to say advantageous, but it seemed to work out for the best, I guess. And so, not that the previous one didn't, but having to sacrifice your children based on a request that you made to God is difficult, not understanding that was going to be the price that you had to pay. She went in willing to sacrifice her son back to the Lord. And so, they seem the same to me, but I feel like they're read differently. And so maybe you guys can comment on this. I don't know. That was kind of the struggle that I had with this specific passage, knowing that, no, this is going to be what leads to the identification of a king in Israel, and eventually the coming of David. And so I like this story. It's interesting, the Sunday school versions that I know, and where they're falling into the timeline that I'm reading when it comes to the Old Testament. But on that note, have a good night. God bless. I love you. Jesus loves you. And I'll be back for chapter 2 of 1 Samuel, where the header reads, Hannah's Prayer of Praise. Have a good night and God bless, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.